Jovan Buha! Buha!
Yo, I'm Jovan Buha, NBA reporter for Buha's Block, and welcome to another Lakers practice report. The Lakers had day 2 of their pre-playoffs preparation, and we have a few things to touch on. Not as exciting as day 1, but some interesting insights from Redick nonetheless. Before we get started, you guys know the drill. For those watching on YouTube, please be sure to hit that subscribe button, turn on channel notifications, and like and comment on this video. On the road to 35,000 subscribers before the end of April. Would mean the world if you could hit that subscribe button. And for those listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your podcast platform of choice, please be sure to follow, download, and leave a 5-star review. All right, let's get into it. So 3 takeaways from today's practice. Number 1, defensive rebounding continues to be the biggest point of emphasis for the Lakers. So JJ said that today the Lakers were focusing on Houston and introducing their personnel and the scouting report, and that was the biggest focus in practice today. So remember, yesterday the Lakers had an internal day of focusing on themselves and just the things that are important to them. Today was introducing Houston and some of the things that are going to be important within this series. So JJ said that the Lakers, when going through Houston's rotation and their personnel, they deemed that Houston has 8 crashers in their rotation, and JJ and the coaching staff will use these labels for the team when going through their opponents of lasers, defensive disruptors, and different labels for each rotation guy. With Houston, it's just a bunch of Banshees, JJ said, and a bunch of crashers, and it is going to be the biggest point of emphasis for the Lakers aside from taking care of the ball. He noted that Houston crashes aggressively from the corners, but they also often have a player in the dunker spot, often Amen Thompson, who then will attack from there with putbacks and offensive rebounds. So the Lakers have to be really aggressive and physical and match Houston's energy, and that has been the external focus through the first couple of days of practice. Then takeaway number 2 is we got some insight into how the Lakers are divvying up the roles with the coaching staff in terms of preparation for this series. So JJ said the Lakers are splitting the roles into offensive roles and defensive roles, and each member of the coaching staff, be it assistant coaches, player development, etc., is assigned some role on one side of the ball for one specific thing. So, for example, there is someone assigned to ATOs on the offensive end and the defensive end, someone assigned to the half-court offense, someone assigned to transition offense, etc., but also transition defense, half-court defense. And so the Lakers are really breaking this all down in a granular way, and JJ said that's the focus pre-series and during the series. So whoever has the ATOs offensively is going to have the ATOs offensively, not only now, but throughout the course of the series. And that is that sole focus for that member of the coaching staff. And I thought it was really interesting to hear that and just the way that JJ broke that down. And I think it's a smart approach to the series. I don't know that it's necessarily novel. I think this is typically how coaching staffs prepare, but just to get the insight into how they are approaching it was a nice peel behind the curtain. And look, this has been one of JJ's strengths as a first-time head coach. Last year and this year, he had some great opponent-specific game plans. I think they had a solid game plan going into the Minnesota series, but just weren't able to execute it at a high enough level. And also, I think we're a little slow to adjust within the series. I'm looking at not only the game 1 game plan, which I think it's going to be paramount that the Lakers win game 1 to have a shot in the series, but also within the series, how quickly they are adjusting. And it seems like JJ has doled out the appropriate responsibilities across the coaching staff. He noted that the Lakers have had 2 fantastic practices to start this week. Everyone is hyper-focused. He said that's been the word of the past 2 practices, has been hyper-focused. And he said they're ready to get ready for the series, that it's a process to get ready for a series. They're using this entire week to get ready for the series, and they're ready to get ready, which I found kind of funny. And then takeaway number 3, just the crumbs of intel we've been able to gather, in more specifically today. So JJ has not wanted to share too much, which is totally understandable. Does not want to give away the game plan, does not want to give away the way that he's viewing Houston. But some of the things he said that we're able to glean from today's practice, he was asked about Bronny and the increased confidence and trust in Bronny. And he brought up Nick Smith Jr. as well and said that he trusts both those guys in a potential playoff setting and that they will both be part of the team's all hands on deck approach. It's been something he's been saying the past couple of days. So it does seem like Bronny and Nick Smith Jr. will factor into the rotation. Now, will they both be in the rotation and LA expands it, or will each of them maybe get a shot or a shift at being the 9th man? That remains to be seen. But JJ did seem to indicate that one, if not both, will factor in at some point during this series. He also noted that Alperen Şengün is a key to the series, but his passing in particular is a problem, especially if you're not pressuring him and trying to be disruptive against him. So that's kind of a basic thing that's obvious, but I thought that was interesting in that it seems like the Lakers are going to really try to pressure and be disruptive against Şengün. And in watching back the film, I've gone through my full rewatch now of the season series. I think the Lakers were able to have some success trying to get the ball out of Şengün's hands. We know about the success they had against Kevin Durant, but I think a key for the Lakers in this series is going to be if Durant or Şengün is playing without the other one, that's when you have to double. That's when you have to blitz. That's when you have to trap and try to make the other 4 Rockets beat you with 4-on-3s and 3-on-2s, because they weren't able to do that consistently during the regular season. And then the final thing with that was JJ was asked about the notion of being an underdog and if there's any freedom within that of not having the same pressure or expectations to win the series, or just that burden of you're the favorite, even though the Lakers have home court advantage. Like JJ had said, everyone wants to play them. And he said that it is freeing and that it's freeing for all parties. So he also joked that he was wearing a backwards cap, and he's like, I'm unserious here with the backwards cap. But I think there is that element to the Lakers of the expectation and the burden of the pressure is more so on Houston. If the Lakers lose this series, whether it's 4 games, 5 games, 6 games, 7, whatever it ends up being, that is expected. The Houston Rockets are entering this series as heavy favorites. The Lakers are without their 2 leading scorers in the regular season. You take the 2 leading scorers off any team in the NBA, including OKC. Imagine OKC without Shea and J-Dub, San Antonio without Wemby and Fox, Boston without Tatum and Brown, Detroit without Cade and Duran. Like, you go down the list, and any team without their 2 leading scorers going into a playoff series is almost certainly going to be an underdog, if not a heavy underdog. So it's understandable that the Lakers are entering this series shorthanded and as underdogs. But to JJ's point, that also gives the Lakers this freedom of they could try different things. They don't have, like, if the Lakers win game 1, even though they are the team with home court, it would be a surprise, and I think it would shift the series odds and just how people view the series. And along those same lines, if Houston loses game 1, all of the pressure will shift to them of, are you going to blow this? Are you going to go down 2-0 and give Luka and or Austin time and an incentive to come back of, let's finish out this series and then advance to play OKC in round 2. So a lot more pressure. And like ultimately, whoever's the favorite in the series, like it doesn't really matter going into the series. Last year, the Lakers were favored in the Minnesota series, and they ended up losing that series in 5. So ultimately, the series is not played out on paper or on a spreadsheet. It is played in between the 4 lines, the 94 feet, and it's on the Lakers to prove everybody wrong, that they are capable of winning the series with or without Luka and Austin. But I thought that was interesting insight from JJ. Like some coaches would have pushed back on that, been like, I don't care for the favorite, for the underdog. It doesn't matter to me. I'm going to coach the same way. But he kind of leaned into it. It was like, we got more freedom here. And I think maybe lessening the burden on themselves mentally could pay dividends for them during the course of the series. But that'll do it for today's practice report. I will be back shortly with Tim, aka Cranjus McBasketball, to break down the series, our third annual Lakers playoff preview. We'll be going through the biggest questions for the Lakers and the Rockets. We will be going over player X factors, statistical X factors, series X factors, a list of notes and observations, and then each will be making our official series predictions. So if you're interested in that, check back in at 5:30 p.m. Pacific time. We'll be going live. But I appreciate you all. Again, for those watching on YouTube, please be sure to hit that subscribe button, turn on channel notifications, and like and comment on this video. For those listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your podcast platform of choice, please be sure to follow, download, and leave a 5-star review. I'll be back in a little bit. Talk to you then.